From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Monday. I do indeed hope that you had a good weekend and didn't get caught up in any of that crazy weather. And there was some severe weather. And sadly, in our viewing area, 2 fatalities. We were just talking about that before the program. Just how heartbreaking, especially, you know, that any death is horrible. But this 2-year-old that died in Antioch, and so sorry to hear about that and how these things happen. This, by the way, by storm standards, was not as big as some of them that we've seen in this area, where we've had no fatalities or even injuries. And here, too, you just never know. So I hope wherever you are, you didn't suffer much damage to the home, and certainly no one was hurt, and you made it through. So starting the work week, certainly that's going to be one of the stories we do. But on the show today, we're going to open it up and go lighter with your questions about your pets and animals. Veterinarian Allison Fields will be with us in just a few moments. But let me just say that Allison had a flat tire coming in. So Rick K-Spear is out there helping settle her in, and she's going to make her way into the studio here in just a moment. We'll have her. But a couple things I wanted to touch bases with her on with regard to the storm last night. My friend in Murfreesboro, Sergeant Kyle Evans, who's with the police department there, actually responded to a tree that knocked over in his neighborhood. It just kind of cracked. Turned out it was hollow, and inside was a raccoon lair. And there were 4 baby raccoons inside this lair. The mother must have been terrified and took off. And I hope she's okay and comes back. But the babies were in this broken tree out exposed in the open with water. 2 of them, he said, had were partially buried. And so he had no choice, especially with dogs roaming the neighborhood, to go in there and rescue the 4 raccoons. So he's got these tiny little raccoon babies. I know Allison, as a veterinarian, doesn't deal with that. Walden's Puddle does an amazing job of animal rehabilitation. I think they're going to try to get involved to try to help these raccoons. But I was going to ask her, what do you do in the short term with something like that? If someone calls a vet's office, and I think a lot of us think that's the first thing we do if we find a bird or a raccoon or something like this injured, most veterinarians, and I know Allison will say this, say, look, the wildlife like this, it's not our forte. I mean, we don't respond to these. We'll do what we can if we have no choice to try to help. But call TWRA. Call Walden's Puddle, but you can just tell, and we'll see if we can get a shot or 2 of these raccoons that Kyle was able. These are small ones, I mean really small newborns, and they're going to need to be hand-fed if the mother doesn't come back or if the mother was killed in the storm last night. And so at this point, they're in a box being kept warm, and hope that they'll be able to get them to the Animal Rehabilitation Center and see if they can be saved or not. Raccoons are the coolest creatures, and it turned out, yeah, this tree was apparently hollow, which is one reason it probably fell over in the wind. Didn't hit any people, didn't hit any homes, but when they went, they saw this lair in the bottom there, and these 4 raccoon babies with the mom missing. And again, I guess raccoons, the babies are called cubs. So the 4 cubs are okay. In fact, if I can, I'm going to head down there this morning after the show. I have some other business to attend to in Murfreesboro. I'm going to swing by there, get some video, and see if we can make sure the help arrives for these raccoons and get them someplace safe and maybe reunite them with their mother. On the other front on this, I know during some of the storms and such, we have situations where animals run loose because of thunder, lightning. They get terrified from this. We put our thunder shirt on Juice, which is our beagle, who's afraid of any kind of loud lightning or storms. And so he stayed pretty cool throughout all this. But we'll talk to Allison about that as well. And she's showing up right now. It's rough when you have a flat tire first thing in the morning. Somehow, some way, I think Allison's going to blame me for this. She'll probably say, oh yeah, this is Nick's fault, okay? I mean, she's here putting her mic on. She did not get to comb her hair this morning. I'm okay with that. That's all right. That's all right, Allison. It's not a big deal.
It is your fault. I'm fairly certain that you came to my house last night and you went.
So when you went out this morning, flat?
No, it was like mostly full, but my little sensor on my car said low tire, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
So I had plenty of time. I stopped, put the money in the little thing, popped it on there, and as soon as I started trying to fill it up, it just, I think the valve stem.
Oh, the valve stem went out. Maybe that.
I think so. So I called my sweet husband. He is now sitting with the car.
He's with the
I'm driving the Ford F-150.
Well, thank you. And you made good time. And thanks to Rick, he helped you get in back there.
Actually, there were very few cars, and I was actually able to park the huge truck. Yeah.
She's right. Everyone gets dinged back there. Yeah. So if you have a big truck. Anyway, I'm glad you made it.
Thanks. And, it's the first time in 15 years I've been late.
It happens to everyone. You know, traffic or whatever's going on, it's A-okay. You know, I was talking to them. I know you guys never deal with this, but you probably get the calls. A friend of mine had a tree blown over in his neighborhood, and they found 4 raccoon babies in a lair. Now, they were not dead. He rescued them. The mother, they think, is alive, but was terrified and took off and has not come back. Well, but the problem was the tree fell over. The lair was totally exposed. Rain. 2 of the babies were partially buried, and there's wild dogs in the neighborhood running around, or not wild, but strays, and they did not want to leave them there. The mother, they kept watching. The mother never came, and they thought overnight they may not survive. So they brought them and put them someplace warm.
Weldon's Pedal.
They've got the call in, and we'll follow up. But yeah, when you get calls like this, I know veterinarians like yourself don't deal with wildlife. You refer them to the experts, right?
Yep.
They do a great job out there.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
They really are.
For everything, be it raccoon, baby.
Squirrels, bunnies. But you know, here's the main thing.
Yeah.
If you find a baby bunny, put it back.
Yeah, what's the rule?
Put it back.
Okay, a bird that falls out of a nest, a baby bird. What about that?
That depends. If they have some wings, they're called a fledgling, and this is what they do.
They're learning to fly.
They fall out of the nest because the nest is too small for these 3 babies. Mom will still feed them on the ground, and they'll kind of hunker down and hide, and they'll chirp, and Mom will find them, and Mom will feed them. So unless they are like no feathers, like a little alien-looking thing.
Yeah.
At that point, just put it back in the nest if you can reach it. They will still take care of them if you've touched them. That whole don't touch them, Mom won't ever take. That's what our parents told us, so that we leave them alone.
But that's not really true. If you put them back up, they'll.
Yes.
Okay, so again, you were saying then about if you see a baby bunny out there, just leave it alone. Yeah. Now the thing is, again, you maybe watch from a distance, because I live out a little bit in the country out there in Mount Juliet in Gladeville area. If I saw a baby bunny, I'd watch it. But there are people who have pet dogs, and they're not always on leashes, unfortunately. And I don't want.
But how often do you think Mama Bunny comes to Baby Bunny?
Oh, I guess Mama should know Baby Bunny's nearby, right?
But how often do you think it comes to check on Baby Bunny on a daily basis?
I don't know.
Without you finding it. Twice. They come at sun up, and they come at dusk.
And they're gone the rest of the day.
And they are gone the rest of the day.
Well, then that baby bunny could be toast during the day if we just leave it.
Well, but it's usually not. I mean,
I'm just worried that I'm saying if a dog came and saw it.
Well, yes, but this is what we make National Geographic shows about. Life goes on. But I mean, the thing is that baby bunnies are meant to be kind of hidden in their little nest, and Mom is off.
Right.
Mom is keeping an eye on things, and typically what happens if she sees anything coming close to that nest, she scampers out there and distracts and so really and truly, Mama only goes to baby bunnies in the morning, in the evening. So if you see it and you're sitting there watching it for 3 hours, you're like, oh my God, it's been abandoned. It hasn't.
It hasn't. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Okay, that's good. And as far as these raccoons, the first choice was to leave them where they were. They couldn't. If you see the tree, it's just split in half. It's exposed. Mom's terrified, maybe hurt. And they're just sitting there, and water's pouring in. 2 of them are half buried in debris. They had to take them out and put them in, and that's where they call Walden's Puddle.
And call Walden's Puddle. They'll do a great job. They are really, really good at raising these babies so that they can be
get
released.
Them back out in the wild.
And most of the time, they will release them, or they'll call you back and say, hey, these raccoons are ready. We're going to bring them back to your area. Or if you're like, no, I don't want the raccoons, they'll take them somewhere else. But usually they will re-release them in their same area.
Again, they do a fantastic job. It's a great place to donate to, because it's a nonprofit. And you know, they get calls all the time, I'm sure, for wildlife that's injured, and just fantastic.
This time of year, they are overrun.
So
with
I hope,
babies.
and I think in this case, I don't know that they can always come out to you. So sometimes you have to bring the critters to them, which is fine. I've brought things out there before, so we'll see what we can do.
I mean, it's a nice drive. It's in Jolton.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, they cannot come pick up. They just don't have the. It's a nonprofit, like you said. They do not have the staff for that.
But if you can get them there, they'll do what they can to help them. So, listen, on that note, we just need to take a break. It's perfect. You came. When we come back, we've got some phone lines open, 737-7587. If you're on hold, and I see a couple people have already called in with questions for you. She's a veterinarian. We'll take your phone calls on whatever you'd like to discuss right after this. Stay with us.
Your